Okay, welcome along. I'm Kes Crystal, and it's been a while since I did one of my top 10 videos. And I thought, as we're coming up to summer and Summerfest opens tomorrow, or today, if I don't get to posting this till tomorrow, now would be a good idea to do a summer one. So I thought I would do a top 10 beach slash summer landscaping items. And generally, what we're going to try and do during the course of this is to build a beach. So, I wanted to start with the terrain. So, I am incredibly lucky. I have my own sim, so I can do what I like with the terrain. So, what I've decided to do is make this southwest corner um, sand. The rest of the sim is grass, you can see there. But I wanted to make this southwestern corner sand for the beach. Now, the way that you can do that if you have your own sim is to go into your um, region and then to terrain. And here you'll see I've got sand as my low texture and then my grass and my rock as the other three textures. And down here is where you tell the system, the terrain system, how high or low you want the temperatures, and you can do it specifically for the northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest. Um, so we're in the southwest. What I've done is I've told it that I want the sand texture, the low texture, to still be the main texture right up to 41 meters. For all the other areas, the sand texture is minus 10 meters. And let me show you what that means for here. So if I was to raise some of this land, maybe not that big, it would be sand. There I go, bouncing about until it gets really quite high up. You see the grass is starting to merge in now, and you can see me bouncing around because I've messed up the land. Let's come over here. Um, so now I just need to flatten that back down so that we can get on with the video. There we go. All right. I'm also going to be using some mesh um, to make the beach as we go through the course of the video as well. Okay, so if I didn't have this and this was completely all grass and I was on a parcel where I couldn't edit the terrain texture, I would be using the beach dune building set from Sky. I'm just going to get that now. So there's a series of different beach dunes in this set, some with little grass on them. So that was 2, wasn't it? 3. My favourite one is the one that has the fence on it, which of course will be the last one that I raise, I would imagine. There we are. Now, although these are great textures, they don't match my sand because my sand is from the Las Islas set that I'm going to show you in a moment. So what I would do, as much as I like these textures, is I would retexture them to have the ones that I want. Okay, so they all match now in terms of the sand that I want. So that's good. So I'm just going to move these to one side for now. I haven't actually planned out this beach and what it's going to look like. It's just going to come together as we res the items. So Let's move that over there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to put out is the actual shoreline. And the item that I'm using for this is Las Islas or Las Islas seamless shoreline. Now this can be a bit complicated. There's a lot of items in the pack, and it's all done via position boxes, which I forget to use the menu and delete stuff and end up with random waves. So hopefully we won't do that. But I'm going to put a beach basically around this area here. I might change my wind light because the water's not looking great. So give me a second. Right. So the first thing we want to do is start off with a straight line. The the straight long is really long. I'm going to use the half. Um, what happens is the box res is you click res and then you move the position box to where you want the beach. So I need to come around that way. And I want it about halfway there. How much lower do I go? Not that low. Losing. That looks about right. Maybe a tad that way. Right. And then I need corners. So I'm going to use these diagonal halves here. I'm not saving anything just yet. And you want to align it with the box that you've already got out. Come down a little. And you can fine tune this, but let's be about there. There we go. And I want one the other side. So I'm just going to copy this box across. You'll see the beach comes with it. There we go. And then I need to click res on that one again. There we go. And then I want to copy this long one on either side. Okay, now we can delete all these black boxes. I mean, I've not spent as much time lining all this up as I would do normally. If I was, see, some of that's a little bit, but I will tidy those up after I finish making the video. You do not want to sit here, I'm sure, and watch me messing with these for hours. So I'm going to do a little bit of terraforming just to bring the land up. Just to bring the land up to here. And again, I'm sure you don't want to see me do all that. So I'll be back in a minute. I'm not an expert at terraforming. I can get by. It's been trial and error. I was so scared of using the terraforming tools for so long. But I've worked out pretty much now what all of them do and how to do this. I'm actually going to take us back to lower graphics so that I can see things without the shadows for this part. So to terraform, you've got the edit terrain panel here. You've got the size and the strength, which are both going to be pretty low for this. Start low and go higher if you need to. And then the different options. Now what I need to do here is raise the land and then smooth it or flatten it to the same height as these mesh pieces. So that's what we're going to have a go at doing first. So don't be scared when you're raising it at first, because it will go up. That's probably a little too soft. We can take that strength up a little bit. There we go. Don't be scared if it looks messy to start with. I actually want it to cover this lip quite a bit, so I am doing it more gently than I would do normally. Just going to do this bit along here for now. Okay, now what I want to do now is flatten that out a little bit. Let me just do along here some. I want to get to a point where I can make this flat and then use that across the rest of the land. There we go. Right, so we've got it higher than we want at the moment, and then I'm going to flatten it. Now for flattening, what you do is you choose the area that you want it to be the same as. So if I started here, it would bring all this land back down to this height again, which is not what I want to do, obviously. So what I'm going to do is flatten to about here. You see it's bringing some land up and some land down. But that little corner there is flat now. It's still too high, but it's flat. So now I'm going to try and smooth it a little bit. And again, I want to take it back down, and I want it as small as possible. I'm just going to run this around here. A little bit too much there. And then I'm going to flatten it again. Okay, so that's flatter and smoother, and that's kind of okay for what I want at the moment. I may change this sand texture to this same one, but I'm going to go around and finish flattening this edge, and then I'm going to bring up the rest, the inside bit that's flat to the same level, and then I'll come back. Okay, so while you were gone, I flattened the land, and I changed the texture on the shoreline to the same as the one that I have on the land. So it all looks a little bit more seamless now, which is great. So now we need something on the back end here, because obviously these finish here. So this is where my mesh is going to come in, and the rocks that I'm going to use. So I'm going to make these a bit bigger to start with. And and I'm always talking about this when I do these landscaping videos, nothing has to be perfect. Nature is not perfect. Next time you're out and about, look at trees and plants and see if they're perfectly symmetrical and perfectly placed, and they're not. So you can have a bit of fun, put things, overlapping. Nobody's going to criticize you for it. Well, somebody might, but who cares? As long as you like what you end up with, that is the most important thing. Let's bring a second one of these over here. I love the fence on it. Really do. I'm not that keen on the grass, but it's a little bit too dark. That needs to come up a tad. And we'll fill that out. We'll fill that out round here with some rocks. It's my least grassy one. I suppose you could always take the grass off as well. And that's the other thing with these, these are moddable. So let's unlink that grass. And flatten this one slightly. There we go. Okay. Obviously I don't want to spend too long, otherwise this video will be incredibly long. Okay, so the next thing I want to add is some grasses, and I use these an awful lot. They're by Cube Republic and they are called pampas grass. There's individual ones in there, but he does provide a link set group, and I tend to use that. These are perfect for any tropical or beach scene. So we're going to put some back here in the dunes. Not put too many out. You're getting the gist of what the pampas grass is. It's perfect. Okay, and the other grass that I like to use is the sky wild grass. So we're going to use some of that as well. I like version 6, I think it is. Version 6 brown, which is a dried grass. It's quite dark. This is perfect. And we're going to use a few more of those later on, but just for now, I'm just going to put some out. And what these are particularly good for, if your seams aren't great, is use them where you've got patchy seams between your mesh. Hides a multitude of sins. Right, I'm going to go back into high graphics so you can see things a little bit better. And bring the light round. There we go. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. Trees. Now, I have a tree. I love this tree. It's an old prim tree. The great thing about those are if you are low on land impact that you can use. These are perfect. You can resize them, but I don't think you'll need to because they're pretty huge. and it's called a Monkeypod Tree, and it's from 3D Trees. It's 12 land impact, copy mod. Let's wait for it to res. That is huge. There we go, it's finished resing now. So again, if you've got a small space or you're low on prims, and you don't have a huge amount of prims that you can use, these are fabulous trees. They look really good. The other tree that I like to use, and actually goes really well with that Monkeypod tree, are the Sky Windswept trees. Now, these come in two versions, with and without the base. You can change the base texture to match your sand texture, which is perfect. So I'm going to type 1 beachy and type 2 beachy. There's a couple of different ones. So again, when you put the sand texture on, you won't get this, you won't get the green, you'll just get your sand. Let me do that because I prefer my sand to match in this instance, because I can always put my own grass and other stuff around. So go into the texture. Now these are mesh, so if you make them bigger, they will be premier. It's 5 prims at the moment. Let's see, take it to, so that's 9 prims now. Let's move that out the way. Let's put this right on the front of the beach. And we can move that patch grass nearer the tree. It looks more. Turn it around the other way. So they're all windswept in the right direction. So I mentioned some rocks we're going to do in a minute. Actually, we need to do the rocks first before we do the ocean waves. So the rocks that I'm going to use are from Fourth Wall. I think they were at Summerfest last year. So sorry if you wanted to go and get them this year, you can't. But I want some big ones. I think the higher numbers are the bigger ones. So resin. Just got a really nice texture to them, and they're really lovely for on a beach. So I'm going to make some of these bigger and put them at the base of my dunes. And I'm actually going to look nice around there, I think. Take that one up a little bit there. And for the sake of quickness, I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. And I think I'm going to have a few rocks around near my trees. See, this is going to get carried away, and I'm thinking, so many people are turning off now. They're like, okay, we get the point. Right. Okay, so a couple of other things, just decorative, really. There are a lot more plants, but I do try to keep these videos to just 10 items. So I think I'll probably do a separate summer top 10. This is really just for beaches, the top 10 items that I use when I'm doing a beach. There's a lot of flowers, a lot of other rocks and boulders and grasses and things that I use. Um, but I did want to share with you something I think is quite important if you're doing a beach, is to have a breakwater. This is a really old, again, prim item. Um, got it on Marketplace. Res. I think it's like two land impact. There's no doubt you're on a beach. You've got a breakwater. And the last thing that I wanted to add in is the Kiki beach fence. Um, I'm fairly sure this is quite an old item. I'm gonna just, I should be making this all up with the right posts and all this, that, and the other, but you don't want to spend all that time watching me do that. So I'm just going to repeat the main part. And again, this is where I would use some grass. Still needs to be facing the same way. So we're almost finished. There's just one last thing I wanted to add in, which are some real waves. Now, obviously, we've got the lapping waves on the shoreline, but I use a lot these ocean waves from Real. Let me see. And these are used around rocks mainly. So these are the swells. You see, I have them around my house. So we put those rocks down, and now we're just going to make this look a little bit more realistic. We're not going to take too much notice of this right at this back end area. Needs a bit of work. Let me just. I really love these. Just sets everything off nicely, and you can mix them. You could go around the whole area if you wanted to put more in. They don't mix too badly with the other ones. Or you could put, further out real waves, but I'm just going to put those ones out there to show you. You can click on them and change the colour and the style of them as well. So that is 10 things, I believe. Hope I've covered all 10 for this list. And just close these. And here's our finished beach. Hopefully this wasn't too long. Hopefully the other little bits around the terrain and the terraforming helped. And you saw that it's relatively easy with the right products just to put together a beach wherever you are and whatever your terrain texture is like. You can use the meshes, just flatten them, um, or just put the, the sky landforms and put sand texture on them. Flatten those a little bit to give yourself a base to use. Um, but yeah, it's coming into summer. I'll be doing a blog picture with the items that I'm wearing today, which is a bikini set from Cosmic Dust and hair from Lamb, which are both available at Summerfest. And as it's now 11:15 at night, I'm very sure that this is going to be going out tomorrow. So Summerfest is open. Thank you for watching. I do plan to do more videos. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see what other videos I come up with for landscaping, terraforming, and decorating.